There is one sector where the world doesn't share technology, and that is the area of nuclear energy and nuclear technology. Very long ago, India decided to be self-sufficient in nuclear energy and nuclear technology. Recently, there have been big developments both on India's fast breeder program and the government wanting an intention to have private sector participation in atomic energy. To give us details, I have with me Dr. A.K. Mohanty.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Dr. Mohanty is the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, as one would say, the nuclear chief of India and the secretary of the Department of Atomic Energy. At heart, he is a scientist. Dr. Mohanty, on the fast breeder program, what has been the big development?
So in the fast breeder program, the important development, very soon we are going to have a power reactor of 500 megawatt electrical, for which the fuel loading has started. In another 2 to 3 months' time, slowly we will be raising the power to the desired level. And this is one of the breakthrough in the nuclear industry because it is the first and breeder. First means the neutron energy which is responsible for fission and producing energy. Speed is fast enough, we do not slow it down. As a result, it can interacting with the uranium, which is acts as a blanket, it will create more plutonium. So that's why it is called fast breeder reactor. And as far as India is concerned, it is a great breakthrough because this will be a step towards going into the third stage of nuclear program. As you know, we followed a 3-stage nuclear program. In the first stage, we wanted to use natural uranium with heavy water. And by this way, we will be producing plutonium and power. And later on, from the spent fuel, we can take out this plutonium. And this plutonium is now being used in the second stage along with the uranium. And this is a breeder, so that as much fuel we use, we will be producing more fuel by breeding it. And like this, after a couple of years, we will be going to the third stage, where we will be using thorium as a blanket, and it will breed uranium-233, which is also a fissile metal. So finally, we will be having uranium-233 based thorium matrix and uranium-233 is the third stage of our nuclear program. And at this stage, we will be completely independent of the fuels. We have shortage of uranium, but we have plenty of thorium in India, and thorium will be converted to uranium-233.
So, hoping for total energy independence for India with the fast breeder program and the subsequent third stage reactors?
Not independence of energy. Energy will be producing, but it will be completely independence of fuel. Right now, we don't
Importing uranium.
We don't have enough uranium. We are importing. But in the third stage, we will be self-sufficient because we will be producing our own fuel from thorium.
Now, why did it take 20 years for the making of the prototype fast breeder reactor? Normally, you make reactors in 4 or 5 years. That is the normal time which atomic energy has been taking.
Yes, but this rightly took 20 years because it is the technology of first it kinds. If I tell you that we are the second country globally, other than Russia, who is going to have this power reactor. Russia has 2 such reactors, and India will be the second, and many other developed countries that are trying to make this reactor. So this is the technologically, it is a lot of innovation and challenging. Sodium, it is a coolant here, and the amount of sodium we have to put around 1150 ton, which will be in the liquid state. It has to be maintained the temperature of 150, and it can go up to 400 degrees centigrade. And liquid sodium has to be handled very carefully. The pumps, etc., immersed in the sodium. So this technology has to be developed. And we do not have such experiments in making this reactor because it's a completely indigenous. We don't know. In fact, not many people have this knowledge. So it has to be developed, and it took such a long time. And this is the technological excellence.
So, made by Indians, made for India, Atmanirbhar?
It is made by Indians, Indian scientists, Indian engineers, and Indian industries. So there are more than 200 industries involved, including L&T, DHL, and many MSME. So it is completely indigenous, starting from the fuel plutonium separation we have done ourselves. So nothing that we have taken anything from outside.
Whenever one talks of liquid sodium and one talks of plutonium, always in the mind people think it's unsafe. As the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, can you tell Indians that the Prototype Fast Breeder Reactor is a safe technology?
In fact, it is the safest technology because sodium has a nice physiochemical properties. It is a high conductivity. Its boiling point is very high, so it will never loss of coolant will happen. And it is a negative void coefficient in technically. It would mean that when the temperature rises, the reactivity decreases. So at any time, if there is a temperature rise beyond the desired level, it will automatically come back to the safe level. So that's why it has an inherent safety. And in fact, this reactor is considered to be close to the fourth generation reactor, which is absolutely safe. And not only sodium, it is plutonium being used, and plutonium will be breeding more and more plutonium when the blockade is used at uranium-238. And in fact, we can use uranium-238 or we can use thorium, depending on what you want to breed. So, safest technology. And right now, our PFBR is, we call advanced third generation, but including certain extra features, it will be a fourth generation reactor for which we are going to work again.
So it is safe.
It is absolutely safe. And
No issues.
no issues at all. And it is everything inside a vessel. It is a pool type of reactor and nothing will come out of the vessel.
So no issues that a tsunami will bring the Prototype Fast Breeder Reactor down because you are sitting so close to the coast?
Tsunami, it is taken care. The things, if there is tsunami at all happens, it only disrupts the power supply and things like that, but the height is quite high, so it will not affect at all.
So you made the reactor higher than the highest level of tsunami
Which
expected?
is to be raised
Safe.
to the higher has been raised. So water level will not reach up to that.
So we will be safe even from tsunamis at Kalpakam when
Yes.
for the Prototype Fast
In
Breeder.
fact, keeping tsunami in mind, it has been designed. That is another reason why it took 20 years. Because very soon we started this reactor in 2004, tsunami came. So all design and other drawings, design things are revisited. So that is another reason why it took time also.
But first of a kind reactor, it does take time. Globally, people take a long time.
It takes time. I should say that globally it is not many. If at all it is existing, it is existing at experimental level. But this is the reactor other than Russia where we are going to the power, producing the powers. So it is a great achievement because globally we are second.
Now, in the third stage, are we still looking at using thorium? And how will we use thorium? Because the advanced heavy water reactor, or which mode are we taking?
We can use in the fast reactor mode. As I said, in the second stage we will be breeding uranium-233. And in the third stage we will use thorium and uranium-233. It can be a fast reactor also.
It can be fast reactor also. So the third stage could also be a twin or a better version of the
It's
fast
better.
breeder.
If you want, we can use it the thermal reactor, or you can with a normal water, etc., or even you can use it the fast reactor.
Now, let us turn our attention to the existing technology which DAE has mastered. The government cleared the making of 10 pressurized heavy water reactors, PHWRs of 700 megawatt in fleet mode. How is it progressing?
It is progressing well. In fact, I should say that including PHWR and water waste reactor, NPCIL is operating 24 reactors at this moment. Another 9 reactors, both PHWR, 700 version of PHWR and light water reactor of Pudankulam, they are in the advanced stage. It will be adding another 7,500 megawatt of electrical. And there are another 10 in the fleet mode, which is also work has started. That will add another 700 megawatt. Putting everything together, our power production by 2032 will be 2200 or 80 megawatt electrical. That means 22.5 gigawatt.
And how much is it today?
Today it is close to 8.2 gigawatt.
And we will go to that level which is expected.
22.4 gigawatts will be reached.
And is it correct that in the conditions for achieving net zero, you need nuclear energy as a mix because it is low carbon energy production capacity?
It is not a question of we need, it is must. Without you have a nuclear into your basket, I don't think we can have 24 by 7 supply of electricity. And net zero is impossible without mixing with the nuclear.
So we should not worry. And India's nuclear reactors are safe. Have we had any Fukushima kind of accidents in India?
I will give an example. The nuclear reactors are so safe in India. Our record, if you see, with Kaiga 1, we could run continuously for 962 days without any maintenance. In fact, there are many reactors we are running more than a year. And there are 4 occasions even we have run more than 2 years. So this is the safety records of Indian nuclear plants. Absolutely safe.
Absolutely safe. So we have had no Fukushima kind of accident where there is radioactive release in the
It
atmosphere.
will not be possible. It is all taken care. Wherever anything, accident, etc. happens, also we also introspect ourselves and see what changes to be done. In fact, our reactors are exceptionally safe.
Now, in the budget speech, Finance Minister Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman spoke of 3 things. One was the involvement of private sector in the area of nuclear energy. So does the Department of Atomic Energy and the Bhabha Atomic Research Center welcome this private sector, or you think you will lose your jobs in DAE and BARC if the private sector comes?
No, it is a welcome step with involvement of private sectors. I think our implementation of a nuclear program will accelerate. So we want it, but we have to go in steps. The 2 reactor which has been announced.
So first let's talk about, we'll come to the BSR, BSMR later. If private sector has to be involved, does it need changes in the Atomic Energy Act?
Yes, we have to bring the changes in the Atomic Energy Act, but also our capability to go into this sector has to be examined. Because unlike any other industry, nuclear sector is a bit critical. It is a fuel. Fuel is, after burning the fuels, it becomes radioactive. Fuel has to be disposed properly. There is a Civil Liability Nuclear Damage Act. It has to be modified. That's why all those acts has to be brought into picture before any privatization. Private sector, it is open to the private sectors. But slowly we'll enter into this. But right now, we are working although it is not a complete privatization, but we'll be working together with the private sectors.
So how will the private sector be involved? Because right now the Atomic Energy Act does not permit that. How will you involve private sector?
Right now it doesn't permit, but without changing the Atomic Energy Act now, even we can work in the private sector, what we call public partnership, PPP mode, where we expect that they will be making the reactors design, they will be investing in the reactors, and we will be owning the nuclear sectors. And by some mechanisms, the power of the nuclear reactors will be shared by the private people. So this is something very similar to PPP model.
So essentially government owned but operated by the private sector where they have invested.
Very close to that. It is government owned and government operated, but the product of the power will be shared by the...
So it is like a captive plant for a particular, like a cement or steel industry.
It is going to be a captive plant for the private sectors, so that they can replace their coal plants or the energy coming from the coal by this PPP mode of the reactors.
And this will be low carbon.
Zero carbon.
Zero carbon. So
very, very low carbon.
Very low carbon. So it is something which is happening.
It is going to happen very soon. We are in the discussion with the private sectors. We are finding out the business model, and very soon we will be working together.
Are the people in Atomic Energy, Department of Atomic Energy supporting this? Bhabha Atomic Research Center supporting it? Or they are resisting the coming of private sector?
There is no question of resisting. We want more people to participate in the nuclear sector. We have to rapidly accelerate these activities. And it is a welcome steps. And even Bhabha Atomic Research Center, which is giving all sorts of research supports along with the NPCI in this mode of operation.
So you're approaching it with an open and a clean heart.
Absolutely.
Now, Finance Minister also spoke of two new reactors, which is the Bharat Small Reactor and the Bharat Small Modular Reactor. Let us first talk, what is this Bharat Small Reactor?
Let me explain that Bharat Small Reactor, it is basically existing 220 megawatt pressurized heavy water reactor. We have been running 15 such reactors with highest safety and with best performance. This reactor we want to modify now because we have the capability of making the small reactor. So by certain design changes, it is going to be what we call technically the exclusion zone. Typically we maintain at 1 kilometer. But with this new modification, it will be cut down considerably. And we require a small footprint to install it. And this is what we are calling Bharat Small Reactor.
Now, what is the change? How will you do that? Will it change from, will it still use natural uranium? What will it use?
It will be same as PFBR, where natural uranium is used with heavy waters. Design change, I mean to say, the containment walls, inside walls, will have a steel line coating, steel liner. And that will be stopping much more. Any leakage, it will be helped to stop there inside the container.
So you already have cement concrete. In that you will add steel to give better containment.
Steel liner.
Steel liner.
That is a better containment. And this will bring down the exclusion zone considerably.
But will it increase the cost?
No, it will not increase the cost. It is very simple modifications. In fact, it will be the cheapest reactor globally anywhere you can see it. It may be cheaper than 700 megawatt also.
How much do you think would be the per megawatt cost of making a Bharat Small Reactor?
We have to work it out, but whatever we spend on 700, it will be cheaper than that. Typically, a ballpark number, if I take, it could be anywhere about 20 crore per megawatt.
20 crore. 20 crore per megawatt. Once you start installing it.
Now, at present rate, it will be that much.
But
it is the cheapest anywhere globally you find in it.
So have you approached the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board for clearances of the new design?
No, we are working out the design, and after it is completed, we will be approaching for regulatory clearances. And hopefully, we will be able to prove it and get the clearances.
Now, the Finance Minister also spoke about the Bharat Small Modular Reactor. What is a small modular reactor and what is India doing on it?
See, modular reactor is a modular, so that the idea is you can make it in the factory and bring and transport it to the location. That is the concept of modular. And small, typically it means 200 to 300 megawatt. So in this line, we have also started thinking. And this present 220 megawatt reactor, which is basically a calendar type. Technically, it is a horizontal calendar.
Correct.
And we are trying to remove it by a pressure vessel. And this will be, we can have still 220 capability. And we are thinking balance of the plant except the calendar will be reused. And this calendar will design to a pressure vessel using light water and slightly enriched uranium. So this is what we call Bharat Small Modular Reactors.
So it is a completely new design in a way.
It is completely new design, and if you see close to it, it will be a bigger reactor which we have in Kudankulam. It is 1,000 megawatt, but if you visualize, scale it down to 220, this is something will look like. So it is a very novel structure, but idea is we will be reusing balance of the plant to the extent possible in the first version.
So are we collaborating with Russia also on the Bharat Small Modular Reactor?
It is completely indigenous. We are working along PRCs and NPCL, they are designing it. And we are very hopeful that we will be finalizing design. So the first one will be a prototype like PFBR. We will be making a prototype Bharat Small Modular Reactors. And then we will bring about the subsequent version. Again, it can be given to the, it can be replaced as a captive small power plants.
And will it be passively cooled? Can it be a passive system or you still need active energy?
No, we'll have a passive
cooling system
here also. These are the improvement we'll be bringing out in this reactors.
And when can we have it ready?
I guess the design thing will be ready by this year. And then it will be launched early next year.
So exciting time for that?
It is very exciting because this type of modular reactor is many countries like UK and other people are working. It is called basically a loop type. Loop means the pumps and steam generator will be connected through a loop pipes. And this is an exciting concept. And from here onwards, we will go to more compact reactor, which will be a compact, small and modular reactor, which we see, which can fit into a ship also in future.
Now, talking of ships and floating reactors, we already have one floating reactor. How is it doing? Is it protecting India the way it should?
If you are referring to Arihant,
Yes.
which is in the public domain, it is a reactor but doesn't produce electricity. It is only for propulsion. So similar concept, it is basically in that sense small and modular. And this reactor, if you connect it to the turbine, it will produce electricity. So this is what we will call it real compact SMR. It can fit into a small size. And this type of experience India is having. But then this compact design making in India, it will be taking some time, although the concept is clear. But we will be probably after this Bharat SMR, third stage will go toward that putting on the land, not on the boat. We can have a small reactor on the land also.
Has the Arihant reactor performed to your capacity as was expected?
It is doing well, and this is something probably Indian Navy has to answer, but they are doing well to my knowledge.
No, but the expertise of the nuclear part.
Nuclear part is doing extremely well.
So happy with it.
Yes.
And we can have more.
India has a capability to do more also.
Let us also talk of one very unique achievement which the Department of Atomic Energy has and does not speak of, which is the Tarapur 1 and 2 reactors, which I am told are the oldest working reactors in the world and which produce the cheapest electricity from nuclear in the world and also possibly cheapest electricity in India. How is Tarapur 1 and 2, and are we looking how long can they last? They are still over 60 years old.
It is under renovation, as you rightly told, and we expect it to run few more years. It is the oldest. We celebrated, I think, Golden Jubilee in 2019. It completed 50 years, and we guess it will have 10-15 years more life. It will continue, and it is the cheapest electricity in India, obviously globally also.
And is it safe?
It is quite safe.
No issues.
No issues at all. See, if safety is the issue, then we will not operate any reactor because our regulator will not allow us. And that is why we don't do any compromise in the safety.
Now, as a scientist, you are also involved with several experiments, and one of the projects you are involved is at the highest observatory in Ladakh at Hanle. Tell me a little bit about the MACE experiment and the project.
See, we have set up a telescope, MACE telescope. This is 21-meter diameter, and probably it is the second largest.
What is the full form of MACE?
It is called Major Cherenkov Atmospheric Cherenkov Experiment. So what happened when any cosmological phenomena, if there is a gamma ray, high energy gamma ray, like it is a radiation, like alpha, beta, gamma. So in cosmic phenomena, gamma rays also comes. So in the cosmic origin, when a high energy gamma rays comes, interacting with the atmosphere, it produces Cherenkov light, which is visible light. And this light can be collected in a antenna or telescope, what we call. So this is the telescope which is in Ladakh at a high altitude, and it is 21-meter diameter telescope. And it can collect these visible lights. And when collecting these lights, you can make out what is the shape and where it would have come from, and you can do cosmological studies. And these are the big mystery over the cosmology, how the universe is created, what is the dark matter, what is the dark energy. These are many mysteries. So this is the experiment partly answering such type of phenomena, and we have set up, and it's the second largest telescope globally, and first largest in Africa, which is probably at this moment not working.
Is it already working? Is it to be inaugurated?
It started working from 2022 onwards, I guess, when they started data collection. Even in fact, they have detected Crab Nebula. That is, Crab Nebula acts as a calibration source. So it has been calibrated very well. So as a detector, a telescope, it is working very well. Now scientists are collecting data, and we expect that, in fact, we will be putting 1 or 2 more telescopes into that, and we want to have a gamma ray center to measure gamma ray spectroscopy and gamma ray processes. and it may have future some of the discovery potential like any other tools.
Now, what are the future developments for atomic energy? What are you looking at? Molten salt reactors? Are you looking at? You spoke of BSR, BSMR. Are you looking at the more futuristic technology there? What is the development?
See, where this power reactors will continue, because we need to produce power, much more power than what we have today. And another direction we are working, concentrating on small reactors at high temperature. When we say high temperature, we always need not talk about electricity putting at the grid. The high temperature can also use to produce hydrogen. From example, if you put high temperature steam, steam can also be electrolysis into hydrogen and oxygen. So this is one process. Even the high temperature steam can be used in producing hydrogen by chemical reaction. That's why next set of reaction our research is going on to produce high temperature gas cooled reactor, molten salt reactor. Then it not be very high power at this moment. We are targeting 5 to 10 megawatt. But their prototype development BRC is completely engaged. And once we succeed, it will be used for probably heating purposes, steam generation, and hydrogen production.
So green hydrogen in a way.
It will be absolutely green. Because when you produce by splitting water, it has to be green. But the nuclear is green, so hydrogen also will be green.
Because even in the fast breeder test reactor, you are wanting to do some experiments to make green hydrogen.
See, fast breeder test reactor, the temperature which it can go up to 300 degrees centigrade, there are certain chemical processes like copper iodine, copper chlorine. This chemical reaction can also produce hydrogen. But that reaction has to happen around 540 degrees centigrade. So this steam, without producing electricity, can be used to produce hydrogen. So this is an experimental setup. FBTR colleagues are trying to set up this.
Now, towards the end, see, atomic energy, when we talk, we only talk mostly about the atom bomb or we talk of nuclear energy. There are also applications in other areas. And one of them is medical technology. Now, the Dhruva reactor where we make our isotopes is aging. Do we need another replacement for the Dhruva research reactor?
In fact, there is a Dhruva is aging, and very soon we have to have a replacement for Dhruva, not only for medical isotope production, but we need neutron for basic research also, material study. So we have a proposal to set up a high flux research reactor at our new campus at Vizag. And this is a proposal has been put for funding to the government of India. And all design and all other reports are ready. So as soon as we get the funding, this reactor is also will be set up. And this may start very soon.
So exciting time for atomic energy in India. India loves its atomic energy department.
The present is always beautiful and future is always bright. This happens in science. And not only atomic energy, that nuclear is one aspect. There are many non-nuclear aspects. And as a whole, if you see, we have a lot of basic research around atomic energy.
Correct.
Like if you see institute like Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, then they are called autonomous body. They are engaged in fundamental research. BRC used in transnational and technological research. And corporation like Nuclear Power Corporation, power production. So the future is very exciting. Not only will go in the nuclear energy production, but non-nuclear application, relatively nuclear agriculture, nuclear medicines, isotope production, health sector, all other areas we are working very effectively.
We will be safe. We don't need to worry about radiation leakage from the DAE reactors.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, the radiation leaks so zero near the nuclear site. You will find natural radiation is much more than what you will be seeing near the nuclear power plants.
Thanks a lot for speaking to us, Dr. Mohanty. Always a pleasure learning so much from a scientist and somebody who's a visionary, taking India's nuclear energy sector forward in a big way. And the big development on the fast breeder reactor and the opening up of the atomic energy sector to private sector, like you say, is a welcome move.
In a step way.
In a step fashion is a welcome. So that was Dr. Mohanty, the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, giving us an overview of India's atomic energy program. While India wants to be a developed country by 2047, At least in the area of atomic energy, one can say with no doubts in mind, India is already a developed country. If the fast breeder reactor becomes commercial and India has the second commercially running fast breeder reactor of the world, all doubts can be laid to rest. If India has to decarbonize its energy sector, then nuclear energy has to be an integral part of that. And the government is strongly supporting the decarbonization of the ecosystem in India and also the use of nuclear energy for supplying base power. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
In New Delhi, Pallava, Bagla for NDTV.